Finally, last night, I got to go and see Jurassic World Rebirth, the sixth addition to this franchise. And while I'm not going to lie to you, and truthfully, I was skeptical about this movie throughout its marketing, because while I am somebody who enjoyed those original films and did even enjoy rebooted sequels with Chris Pratt, this is a franchise that I wasn't too sure about how far you can really go. I mean, how many times can you do this story of rebirth dinosaurs and commentate on why you should not be messing with genetics at all? But with two actors that I have very much respect for, being Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, I was willing to give this a chance. And as the trailers kept coming, I did get a lot more hype and anticipation for this movie. So I went and checked it out. And for the most part, I actually thought it was pretty good. Now, let me just give a little bit of context here. So I went to go see this movie called Screen X. And what that is, if you've never been in that before, I didn't know what it was at first, but it's basically this supposed to be immersion type of way of watching the movie. You got the screen in front of you, and then you got projectors along the two walls aside of you, and it's like a big box, you know? So that way the movie also covers your peripherals, and you're supposed to just feel like you're more in the movie. I didn't like it, not at all. Reason I didn't like it was because the images, when they decided to do the side views, it felt like the image was being blasted. So it made the side screens look real blurry. And a lot of times, especially when there was like a big ass dinosaur on there, you find yourself looking everywhere in the theater, and it bugged me. And I don't know if it's supposed to affect the audio, but it did. It made the movie a lot quieter than what it would normally be in just your regular theater. So I am judging based off of that experience. Didn't like Screen X. If you do like Screen X, I mean, more power to you, I guess, but didn't like that. But nonetheless, we're talking about the movie. Let's get into it. Now, the movie is following our main character, Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, who is basically a mercenary, a person for hire, who is hired to go on this expedition to this abandoned island where dinosaurs that were mutated from the original Jurassic Park are sent. These were dinosaurs who had physical deformities, ones that they deemed unnecessary and unfitting for the park itself. He's accompanied by a whole bunch of people, two of it who include Martin Krebs, who plays kind of our corporate guy, wanting to get the blood samples from these dinosaurs, and also Dr. Henry Loomis, who is our specialist in dinosaurs, working at a museum, has genuine love and care for these animals, and above all else wants to do the right things by them. Zora Bennett also hires her own team of people that she knows from past jobs and people she has made friends with, one of who is including Mahershala Ali's character, Duncan Kincaid. That and so many other people. There is actually a huge cast for this movie, a bigger one than I thought. That actually causes the movie to split off into two different plots. And look, when it comes to Jurassic World Rebirth, this is by no means different in the genre at all. You still got your corporate guy who is looking to make the most money out of this situation. You have your dinosaur enthusiast who wants to do right by these animals and thinks that what the corporate guy wants is wrong. You got your guns for hire who are specialists in combat and trying to keep these people safe. Very on brand for the Jurassic Park franchise. For what the movie lacks, I think, in story, kind of makes up for in spectacle, in its cast of characters. And one of my favorite parts about this sequel is that it does a decent job at bringing back this horror element to the Jurassic Park franchise that I feel that we missed in those last three sequels with Chris Pratt. Instead of it being such a type of movie, we get some really crazy moments with these dinosaurs that is honestly terrifying. Without going too much into spoilers, I'm gonna just let you know that the opener of this movie is phenomenal. It does a great job of kind of making you put yourself in this position of what would you do if one of these dinosaurs were to get out and you're trying to save the rest of this institution that you're a part of. It kind of sets you up exactly for what you're going to be dealing with throughout this movie. And mixed with those horror elements, there are also a few moments of suspense that do a really good job at keeping you on your seat, not knowing who's going to make it and who's not. And even the person that you're pretty sure is going to, there's a couple moments where you think that they might not. That alone, I had a really fun time with. I wasn't expecting them to dive so much into those horror elements the way that they did. It's not all throughout the movie. You definitely still get a lot of this action style type of feeling, but I do think that the movie does a good job at making you fear these dinosaurs. But on the flip side of that, it also does a great job at showing you how beautiful these creatures are. There are quite a few camera shots where you see these dinosaurs on this landscape, and it is beautiful shots. Those moments where you kind of really just take it in and you're just like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Now, I will say a lot of those moments are kind of ruined for me personally by the Screen X experience, but you know, that's neither here nor there. As far as casting goes, in all honesty, I was a bit disappointed with some of the casting here. I don't think that there is too much difference in a lot of these characters than the type of characters that we've had in this franchise already. Scarlett Johansson's characters, or Bennett, I didn't find too likable, honestly, in this movie. And I didn't really figure out the language why, but she just plays this kind of sarcastic, underhanded, kind of an asshole character I wasn't vibing with too much. But I will say that there are a few moments where we get an insight to kind of her backstory and the care that she has towards these people that she has worked with. And it does show a little bit of depth in that character. I think Scarlett Johansson herself plays the role really well with what she was given, but her character, I wasn't too much of a fan of. Honestly, for me, there are 3 standouts in this movie that one was kind of surprised about. First one being Mahershala Ali's character, Duncan. Thought that he did amazing. And same thing with him. A little bit of insight into his character and kind of seeing where he's coming from and why he's motivated for certain reasons was just phenomenal. And absolutely, we need Blade to get on track, man, because he could definitely play a great Blade. He does kind of have this charismatic attitude about him, mixed with this badassery that he brings to the table. He did a phenomenal job at playing his role, and his character was very likable in my opinion. Jonathan Bailey is our Dr. Henry Loomis, who is our dinosaur enthusiast and museum runner. Also does a great job at playing this likable, nerdy kind of guy who at the end of the day just wants to do the right thing by these dinosaurs and not give all of their possible help to just the people with money. He has very funny moments that will have you laughing a little bit here and there, and bounces off the characters of Zora and Duncan really well. David Iacono, who plays Xavier Dobbs, is a character that I didn't know was in the movie, but gradually grew on me as the movie went on. He's kind of part of our B plot, dealing with this family who is trying to stay on vacation and just end up at the wrong place at the wrong time, tied in with the rest of the cast. And he plays the boyfriend of the daughter of the dad in our B plot in this family. And at first when I met him, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was rooting for his demise, as bad as that might sound. He's one of those characters where he just starts off very unlikable. He's this cliche version of the boyfriend who is just lazy, doesn't want to do anything, young, but kind of gives off these scumbag type of vibes. And as the movie goes on, he starts to grow on you a little bit, making decisions that you really didn't think that he was going to, and really proving to be an asset to the team. I don't know if I would consider this to be a substantial role or anything, but for what he's given and what he does in this movie, I was pleasantly surprised. I do also love that this movie does kind of address the fact that dinosaurs are a part of this world now, but because, you know, they're walking around in cities, they're things that people see every day now, people are kind of desensitized to the idea of having dinosaurs around. But because of the Earth climate not really being fit for the living of dinosaurs, they're starting to die out, and people are really not caring about these dinosaurs anymore. And I'm really kind of happy that they address this, dinosaurs being in our world, instead of kind of just glazing over it, the events of the last trilogy. Absolutely is yet another commentary on the fact that we just maybe should not be messing with these genetics of extinct animals anymore, you know? But at the same time, money will always talk. Money will always motivate people to do stuff they probably shouldn't do. And I think that the commentary on that is decently done for this movie. As I said, some of the shots were absolutely beautiful of these dinosaurs. Also tying in with kind of the CGI on in this movie. I think the CGI was actually done really well, which is, I think, something that has not been a problem for this franchise. I think that the CGI, for the most part, in all the movies, look really decent, and it holds up here. A lot of the dinosaurs are amazing, dope designs. And the main dinosaur, the D-Rex is what they're calling it, is a ugly motherfucker. But man, is that dinosaur terrifying. It was said that the inspiration for this dinosaur actually comes from the Rancor from Star Wars, and you definitely can see that. And I think that that was a great design to go off of for what they were trying to do, and giving this kind of horrific and terrifying edge to this dinosaur. You know, for the most part, I will say that this was a movie that I really did enjoy watching in the theater. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, if it was just going to be a rip of the same old story told in time and time again. And while I'm not going to say that this was a completely different take on the world, there were a lot of things working in its favor. Likable characters, the horror element of the Jurassic Park world brought back into this movie, which I thought was done amazingly. The scope of this movie being absolutely phenomenal, and the scenery and cinematography of the movie being fantastic. There were a few moments in this movie where I had to kind of suspend my disbelief, you know, stuff like, how the hell did this person escape that? There was no escape. But for the most part, I found myself enjoying my time in this universe and watching this film. I'm not 100% sure on where to go after this, but you know, I'm sure they'll think of something. For Jurassic World Rebirth, I think a 7.5 out of 10 does this movie justice. So that's all I got for you today when it comes to Jurassic World Rebirth. How did you feel about the movie? If you did go see it, what were some of your favorite parts? Let me know. I'm interested to see what you guys thought. But that is all I got for you in regards to Jurassic World Rebirth. If you did stay to the end of this video, I really appreciate you. Hit that like button for me so we can get this video out to more people. I really appreciate that. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any future content that gets dropped on this channel. But as it goes, man, I'm out of here. Y'all be smooth and stay geeked up.